Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone, passion for excellence.
This is Autoline Daily for November 22nd, 2010, and now, the news. In a sign of just how fast Hyundai and Kia are moving up on the world stage, Bloomberg reports that they now sell more cars in Europe than Toyota and Lexus do. Moreover, Hyundai has new models coming out next year specifically tailored for the European market, so its sales lead could increase even more. Hyundai and Kia are also taking market share away from Japanese automakers in the North American market. In Europe, they have 3 factories: in the Czech Republic, in Turkey, and in Slovakia. And speaking of Hyundai, even though it did not show it at the LA Auto Show, the company released these drawings of a car called the GRANDEUR, which it sells in the U.S. market under the Azera brand name. You can see how it carries the same styling theme found on the Sonata and Elantra, with a grille that has a similar kind of surface form, and in the flowing lines that run down the side of the car and into the rear. Hyundai will not say much about this design, but you can bet it is headed for production and will be sold worldwide. According to Autoblog, Volkswagen plans to build a modern version of its iconic Type 2 van. But this is not the first time the company has flirted with reintroducing it. If you remember way back to 2001, VW planned on giving its microbus concept the green light, but apparently it would have been too expensive to build. Fast forward to 2010, and rumor has it the project is back on. Auto Express reports VW is trying to decide how conservative or creative to make the design. But given how bland some recent Volkswagens have been, I'd bet on boring rather than breathtaking. If this rumor is true, we'll likely see a concept version of the Transporter sometime in 2012. Increasingly, automakers are turning to the internet to help move the metal, whether they create a Facebook page to drum up online support or start microblogging on Twitter. They can really reach new and younger audiences by turning to the web. Along these lines, Bloomberg reports Kia plans to start selling vehicles on eBay. Almost half of its 725 U.S. dealerships are enrolled to list their vehicle inventories on the popular auction site. GM tried something similar last year in California, but let the program lapse after about 8 weeks. We'll have to see if mainstream car buyers will purchase vehicles from eBay. And speaking of social media, you can friend us and follow us. We're on both Facebook and Twitter. Just search for Autoline and you should find us. HERTZ announced it has teamed up with CODA, a California-based electric car company, to make its vehicles available for rent at certain locations in Southern California. CODA's cars, which are made in China, are 100% electric, can seat up to 5 passengers, and have a range of up to 120 miles. The company claims that a full charge only takes 6 hours to complete. The deal with CODA is part of a broader plan by HERTZ to use its locations as a base for EVs and charging stations, and it'll start its EV rental program next year. But speaking of EVs, just as the first mass market ones are getting ready for their debut, utility companies are finally admitting they are worried that an influx of cars plugging into the grid may knock power out in some areas. According to the AP, just adding an EV or two to a neighborhood is almost the equivalent of adding another house, and utilities worry about those cars stressing their equipment. Driving 10,000 miles will use around 2,500 kilowatt hours, which is 20% more than the average annual consumption of a home in the U.S. Plugging the EV in could also trip a circuit breaker if the circuit serves other appliances and knock out power in other parts of a house. Until a network of charging stations is built, the utilities expect problems will occur for the next couple of years. You know, Dodge is coming out with a completely revamped lineup of vehicles that have undergone massive improvements. And we'll take a closer look at one of them right after this.
Introducing Bridgestone's third generation of run-flat tires with groundbreaking new Bridgestone technologies. Bridgestone run-flat tires offer improved ride comfort, lower rolling resistance, and improved wear while giving you the peace of mind and comfort you need.
The Dodge Journey was always a well-sized vehicle with good packaging. Only problem was it had a cheap plastic interior and a somewhat primitive powertrain. Well, for 2011, Dodge went in and fixed just about everything on the Journey that needed fixing. I recently got a chance to test drive one, and here is what I thought about it. Here's my instant impression of the 2011 Dodge Journey. They have completely changed this vehicle, although when you see it on the street, you may not notice the differences all that much. Very subtle changes on the outside, starting with the front fascia. They've also done a different rear fascia. The real story on this vehicle is under the hood and inside. Come on, I'll show you what I'm talking about. I really like what they've done with the interior of this vehicle. If you've been in the prior Dodge Journey, it was all cheap plastic, cheap hard plastic everywhere. Now they've got nice soft touch plastic, a lot of contour, a lot of character in the design of the front end. I love this bright work that runs across the entire IP. Another little detail that I really like, if you look at the buttons on the door, before it looked like they had just punched a hole through the plastic. Now they've got this nice indentation, they've got this nice little ring that finishes it off. That's the sign of craftsmanship. Same thing with all the stitching. Throughout, they've got this nice soft leather and everything in here with French seams. That is just a little touch that you just didn't see on any kind of Chrysler vehicle before. Put it all together, especially with this leather-wrapped steering wheel that comes standard, the most base vehicle, and this Dodge Journey is completely different than before. Driving it, the dynamics of it are so good. You've got the new 3.6-liter engine, a lot more power, better fuel economy. I am just in awe of how much they've changed on this vehicle and made it so much better. The Journey is a perfectly sized vehicle for the international market, and I've got to believe that Fiat is going to want to help Dodge sell these vehicles in a lot of global markets. Hey, don't forget to tune in tonight for Open Line, the biggest party line that's out there, where you can talk about cars with all kinds of people who want to do the same thing. The number is 218-936-6581, and the PIN is 2275. Join host Michelle Naranjo tonight starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Open Line. And that's today's report on the top news in the global automotive industry. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.